Yo, listen up, Rue is stepping up the game, where fantasy Premier League runs in his veins. From transfers to captains, he's always on top, guiding you through every game week non-stop. They say Rue got that Salah flow. Welcome to the channel, enjoy the show. Wild cards, free hits with so much vibe. If you're hunting for success, then make sure you subscribe.
Good day, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I'm FPL Rue. Welcome back to another FPL stream. So I'm joined by FPL Matt Day today. How's it going, Matt?
Yeah, good, mate. Excited to be on, and yeah, I just love that song. I love the intro song.
Yeah. I think people only watch for that song.
So good.
No, that was no, it is good. It is good. I made it with AI, so it's an interesting one. But I wrote the lyrics myself, so I'm claiming that. No, it is a very good song. But yeah, welcome everyone. So we're going to be answering some of the questions that were left on Twitter that I didn't get to answer in my questions video. So we'll be going through them and then looking at both mine and Matt's teams, talking about our transfers and our captains. Which is, I don't know about you, Matt, but for me, I'm not. My mind's not made up yet. So maybe you can sway me either way, or the comments can sway me as well. So yeah, we'll get into that. First of all, yeah, just smash this video a like if you are watching, as it really does help it out, and we'll get on to the questions. So some of these questions are about game week 13, obviously, but some of them do cover future game week. So we'll answer all of them and yeah, see how we go. Do you want to kick us off, Matt? So Matoma to Mbeumo, do you think that's a good move this week?
Have to. I think you have to if you can afford to do it this week. Look, there's other options I like as well, but if you're dead set on having Mbeumo ready for the Luton game next week, I think you got to do it now because Matoma's been ruled out of the game week. So if you can afford it now, do it. Obviously, I'll go on my team later on, but I would have done that this week if I could have got there this week because I still think home game against Arsenal, he'll be involved, and then next week with the Luton game. He's going to be a good player to have. And yeah, with Matoma being injured, I think it's a yes for me, mate.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. As we know, Matoma is out now. If he wasn't confirmed out, then maybe you could have that conversation to see if it's worth keeping him just for one more week. But now that he is out, I think he's got to come out your team, and I think Mbeumo is a good option. One thing I would bear in mind is definitely look at how many Brentford and City options you do have, as they do blank in game week 18. So you don't want to be stuck in game week 18 where maybe you're playing 8-9 players. So definitely take that into consideration. But I think it is a good move for the next 3-4 game weeks. And even after the blank, Brentford have some really good fixtures. So if you can start benching Mbeumo in game week 18, then it's a really, really good move. We'll bring up a few comments as we go. So Christian in the building. How's it going, Christian? Hopefully your archery goes well today. I know you're a good archery. Is it a player, a shooter? So yeah, good luck today. And yeah, I'm glad you like the intro. We'll move on to the next question. So 2 questions in this one. So who will be your captain and your top 3 captaincy choice? So we'll start off with your top 3. Who do you think would you say your top 3? If your captain's in that, just let us know as well, Matt.
Top 3. I'll do the top 3, and then I'll say who my captain will be. Third is Son. I think he's only 3 because there's so many injuries for us for Spurs. There's just so many injuries at the moment and Villa are on good form, and he's got a good record against Villa, but I think he sort of sits as number 3 from the options just because. Yeah, it's hard to pick how the Spurs Villa game is going to go with all the injuries. So I'll put him 3. 2, I'm going to say Salah, only because he's away in the City game. But I think if Liverpool score, he'll probably be involved, whether or not it's a goal or an assist, plus he gets pens. And then 1, it has to be Haaland, even though it's against Liverpool. He's at home. Obviously, we hope he's fully fit, which I think he will be, but he's at home. He always tends to score goals at the Etihad, regardless kind of the game. So I think with this game week being a kind of a strange game week because everyone's players are playing against each other. I actually think safest option is Haaland, so that would be my top 3. But who will be my captain? Very highly likely. Well, it was locked in. It's going to be Son. It will be Son. Even though I think Haaland's the best option, it will be Son because kind of not feeling the early kickoff, and I want to be able to. I'm not sure how long I'm going to keep Son, so I want to captain him in a home game for Spurs, just with the hope that he can step up and kind of rise to the occasion of all of these injuries in the Spurs team, and he can kind of step up. But I do always get worried captaining Son in home games because I feel he's just so much better when Spurs are playing away on the counter attack. Although they do play with the ball now a lot more in the Postecoglou, but I just feel he's better when he's on the break, and doesn't always get that in the home games. He gets a lot of his hat tricks and his hauls away, so I do get a bit worried. But he'll be my captain. It was also because I stuck it on him early in the week, and I kind of left it. And now I'm like, if I do move to Haaland, which a little bit of me wants to do, I know that if I did it and then like Son beats his score, I'll be just kicking myself. So either way, we'll see how we go. But that's what I'm planning to do.
No, a lot of the time that happens. I think you think of a transfer, or you think of a captain earlier on in the week, maybe even just after the deadline. So after the first round, that first section of games in the week before, and you look at your team and you think, okay, maybe I should take this player out. A lot of the time, I think that is probably the best move you can make. Obviously, things change throughout the week, like injuries and stuff like that, you can't really control. But sometimes I think if you make that decision early and nothing else has changed, so no injuries, no suspensions, no one's come back from injury, then fair enough. Like you could change, but I think most of the time it's probably best to just stick to what you're going for. For me though, I am in a similar opinion. I'd say I'd probably put Haaland third.
Wow. Okay.
Because of that home fixture against Liverpool. I'm just not too sure about the injury. If it's a tight game, but Haaland is not feeling 100%, will Pep take him off? I know they've probably basically qualified in the Champions League now, so it's not a big deal. But I'm not sure he's going to want to risk him for a full 90 minutes. So I think you're probably only getting 60, 70 minutes with Haaland, which is enough. Don't get me wrong, but for me, I'd just rather someone that's going to get probably 90 minutes. Second is probably Son for me, just because I don't think Spurs have anyone else to come off the bench for Son. No. I think, although I agree with what you're saying about Spurs being at home, but I think Villa will be almost like an away game. I think they are pretty open at the back, and I think they do concede a load of goals, and they're not that great away from home either. But I'm worried without the creativity of Maddison
and the
without Basuma and the 100%, and no midfield now, because I've heard that maybe Sarr has a niggle. So that's, say worst case, that's no Sarr, and then there's definitely no Basuma. There's definitely no Maddison. Obviously, you got the 2 centre backs out. Udogie's probably going to play, so that's the big, I guess, a big increase in creativity, having 2 wing backs that are pretty attacking. But I think no Sarr is going to be a big miss, because I thought originally you'd probably play Højbjerg, Sarr, and then maybe Bentancur. But now probably Bentancur is going to have to drop back into 2, and maybe even Lo Celso is going to have to play, or Kulusevski is going to have to play behind the striker. So, yeah, for me, I think Son is second, because I do think he can get a goal against Villa, and then maybe even 2 goals. But number 1, if he is fit, so this is why he's not my captain, but if he is fit, it's probably Bowen. I think Burnley away is a good fixture, but obviously it's a big if. But I think in terms of looking at it on paper, he's the best captain option this week with Burnley away. But yeah, like I said, with the injury, you don't really know. It's probably he's going to play, but for me, I don't want to take that risk. So yeah, I'm on Son as well. At the moment, I'll probably stick to Son, but yeah, I just wish we knew Bowen was going to play. Even if it did come out saying he was fit, I just wouldn't trust it with him pulling out the England squad with that injury. So yeah, for me, I'm on Son, but I do think it's open this week, and anyone could get a massive haul. So So yeah, no, it is an interesting one, and it could be a massive swing this week into captaincy. So
Huge.
we'll go on to a few comments
So
here.
with the Bowen one, Bowen actually was
Yeah.
going to be my top captain pick and my probably I would have found a way to get him in my team this week as captain. But once he got that injury, I was like, didn't put him in my captain picks and was like, I'm just not sure, because Moyes in the interview didn't rule him out, but he also didn't. But the way FPL goes, it wouldn't put it past me if he starts a game now and then a bunch of people transfer him out and then he comes out and gets a couple of goals. But we'll see.
Yeah. Well, he was the most transferred player in this week. I remember looking early on in the week and it was about 300,000. So, so yeah, it is a tough one. I guess that's why you shouldn't be making transfers that early, especially after an international break. So, yeah, we got a question from Christian. So, my only question this week before archery, I need to get Tsimikas on the bench. So to do that, do I transfer Matoma to Gibbs White or Højlund to Wood? Oh. So is this? I guess this is so you don't have to play Højlund, or is it so you can upgrade Tsimikas? I reckon it's probably so you can upgrade Tsimikas. You think, Matt?
I don't think he needs to do it though. I reckon like he could probably, if he wants to get Matoma out and he fancies Gibbs White against Brighton, then like if he's confident in him, then like I don't mind that. But I do think like Eze, He-Chan from Wolves are like pretty good midfield options as an alternative. And then like I'd keep Højlund though, if you can, instead of having, I know Rue's got a good history of Chris Wood on this podcast. But I reckon I'd still keep, because I know that Wood kind of makes sense because is it Akir Wanyi is injured, so like it actually kind of makes sense because of Wood will probably start and he did score in that last game, a couple of goals. But I just think Højlund it isn't too bad. I still don't think having to play Tsimikas, if it's last resort, is a bad idea. I don't think it's the worst idea because, like, look, what's best case scenario? He gets a clean sheet and obviously assist or something like he did last game week. Worst case scenario, he probably gets 1 to 2 points. Like, I can't see him getting anything less than like a 1. So, like, yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah. So Christian's saying it's so I don't have to play Tsimikas. My current bench is Matoma, Kaboro, Højlund. I'd probably start Højlund, no?
Yeah, I'd play him away at Everton if you can get.
Can you do that though? Yeah. Well, only thing is yeah, because you've only got one defender on the bench, so that means you've got 4 on the pitch, right? Quick maths.
Yeah. Because then it's Kabore. Yeah, Kabore. Or we could play Kabore over. Is Kabore starting at the moment for Luton?
He's injured. He's red flagged. Yeah.
Is he red flagged? Okay, so he has to play. So then then again,
I'd play Højlund instead.
You play Højlund if it means you can play 3 at the back. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Because I think they've got a pretty good fixture this week. They've got
Everton
away. Obviously, Everton are on the up, but you've got to fancy United to win that game, surely. Yeah, do something at least.
He's flagged. Højlund's flagged.
Okay.
Let's have a look. I feel like nearly every player in the game's flagged this week.
Wow. 50%. Yeah, I've just
let's
got
have a quick look. Højlund injury update.
Yeah, I didn't actually know that. Well, if that's the case, then
here's the latest update.
I think Matoma. I think Højlund out then, because their fixtures are not the best after this game week.
Well, he said Højlund's not too bad. Everton will be a close finish, but we're working on that. We're not sure if he can make that, but hopefully in the next week. So yeah, maybe it might be worth looking at moving him on. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, because I think go for Chris Wood, because their fixtures after that are not the best. If they have, like, if he had good fixtures after that, then fair enough, you could hold him. But you might as well take him out. Yeah, I'm with you. I think go for Chris Wood. Forest's fixtures, yeah.
Solanke or Archer from Sheffield United and just save the money. because Archer's got Bournemouth home anyway, and you can just throw him in as a one-off kind of pick.
Yeah. So Solanke you'd go for?
If you're going to go within, then again, Chris Wood's quite cheap,
Yeah.
isn't he? So probably can't afford Solanke.
4.9.
Yeah, I'd go Archer over
Got,
Chris Wood.
Yeah. I think go for Chris Wood. To be honest, we'll get when we get onto our team selection. There is a potential where I could be bringing him in, but I don't know if that's a heart overhead. But it's only for my bench striker though, so but we'll go over that later on in the video. But I think fair enough. Take out Matoma or Højlund. I'd say either. I wouldn't have a preference over who you can take over. I'd just have a look at who's the best player you can bring in, and I think I prefer Chris Wood or Solanke. Or if you've already got Solanke, that's why you haven't mentioned Solanke. Then go for the forward, I'd say. Got another comment here from Christian as well saying, "Step up, Jamie Donnelly for Spurs." Yeah,
must be a youngster.
Oh, yeah, we're reaching then if we're having to play. Play him. We'll move on to the next question. So get in your questions as we'll be answering them throughout the video. And we've also got these questions for Twitter if you have joined a bit late. So people asked a few questions on Twitter that I didn't get to finish and answer in my questions video. So I've taken them and then we're going to answer them tonight or this morning if you're in the UK. So next question is it worth doing these transfers? Trippier to Tomiyasu and then Alvarez to Solanke. For me, I wouldn't do Trippier to Tomiyasu. I don't think you're guaranteed starts with Tomiyasu. Alvarez to Solanke, I don't hate it, but I don't think it's a necessity to do. I would just not do any transfers. If you do have one transfer, then maybe the Alvarez move, but I definitely wouldn't be doing Trippier to Tomiyasu. What do you reckon, Matt?
Yeah, I'm with you there, mate. I wouldn't be getting rid of Trippier. I know Arsenal have got some good fixtures coming up, and it gives you a chance to get an Arsenal player in. But if you're going to sell Trippier for an Arsenal defender, it'll have to be Saliba. If you're going to do it, but I reckon you can wait a couple of weeks for that because Trippier's got Chelsea and Man United home back to back, and he's shown in big games. Newcastle like to keep it quite tight, and he's always on the bonus when they then keep a clean sheet, or he can still get assists. So I wouldn't sell Trippier yet. And then Alvarez to Solanke, I actually would say yes to that one because if you've already got Haaland, I don't think you need Alvarez. But if you don't have Haaland, then I would keep Alvarez because I think you need at least one City player in. I'm going to assume if you've got Alvarez, you might not have Haaland, but say you do have Haaland, I don't mind the idea of bringing in Solanke because he's starting every game. I think he's on pens. And I just like the idea of having someone a little bit different. I've always liked Solanke in FPL as well. So I don't mind that one, but it would be dependent on if you've got Haaland. If you don't have Haaland, I wouldn't do it because Alvarez is still such a threat. And it's always good to own at least one Man City player.
Yeah. No, as an Alvarez owner, maybe a little bit frustrating, but I can't really complain with owning him. He's done so well for his price as well.
And he takes free kicks.
Yeah,
and he's good at them.
So true. Yeah, he scored a beauty the other week, I think. So yeah, we'll go for a couple more questions. So we've got a question here from DRK34. So Captain Watkins, what do you reckon, Matt?
It's not the worst idea. I actually had a mate ask me the same question earlier. And I said, honestly, it isn't the worst idea because there's no Romero. He's still suspended for 2 more matches, which is really annoying. Van de Ven is still injured. Udogi's going to be back. Porro's going to be back, but they're going to be bumming up and down the pitch. So you're really left at centre-back with Ben Davies, Phillips, Dyer. It's really just it's not looking good. And Villa are so good at in transition. They're so good going forward. I actually think there's potential for this to be a high scoring game. Hopefully in Spurs' favour, 2-1, 3-2, that type of stuff. Obviously, I would rather them just win, even if it was just 1-0. But I mean, if it's going to be high scoring for FPL, I can see it being I can see Villa grabbing a goal or two. They just create a lot of opportunities, and like Watkins against this Spurs defense without two key centre backs, that's where the problem is. If one of those centre backs was playing, I wouldn't be as worried. But the fact that they're both out and there's no backup really, like Davis and Dyer. Davis is all right. Ben Davis is okay, but like they're the same two defenders that have let Spurs down as a partnership, along with when Sanchez was there for so long, and we've never upgraded that depth. And like it will show in these types of games. I hope it doesn't, but yeah, I think Watkins is actually a captain option this week. He's a big game player as well. He actually gets quite like goals against anyone. So I'd say I think it's a good pick.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm not too sure if it's a good pick, but I do understand. I understand it because I think Spurs will concede. I just don't really rate Watkins. I rate him as a player, but as an FPL option,
He's
so I think he's
frustrating,
only
that's why.
scored. Yeah, because I looked at his stats I think last week, and obviously the goals are great, but I think was it 5 he got in that game or 4 he got in that game where he got the massive haul. So he's only scored in 2 other games. I read I saw on there. So he's only scored in 3 Premier League games this season. Yes, he scored loads in one game, but I'm not sure I want that from someone I'm going to captain, that consistency. I want him to maybe get a goal every game sort of thing rather than get 1 and then none for 5 games and then get 4 in one game. But I think this week is probably the week to do it because there's no clear captaincy option. So you're not really going to be getting hurt by 90% captains Haaland or 80% captain Salah. So I think this is the week to do it if you are looking to do it. We'll move on to the next question. Please, make sure you leave your questions in the comments below. We'll be going through them at some point, whether that's in between all the questions on the screen or at the end. So next up, bit small writing, so I'll read it out if I can see that. So, hey Roo, would you roll this team with plans that will require double transfer by game week 16? So assuming that's because of City and Mbeumo coming in or something like that, or subject to probable Matty Cash price drop, would you transfer him out now for someone who also most likely occupy my bench for game week 13, i.e. Arsenal defender Zinchenko? So we'll go with the first question first. So would you roll this team with plans that will require transfer by game week 19? So basically, would you roll if you had this team?
I would. If Kabore is injured or flagged for this week, I would swap. I'd just play Matt Cash because, like we just said before, that Spurs Villa game, there could be goals, and even if Cash doesn't keep a clean sheet, there's attack. He's always got attacking potential. He's always getting far forward, so I'd just play Cash. You can play him in game week 14 against Bournemouth, so then you actually get a good fixture out of Cash. And then you've got the 3 at the back. Taylor, again, if Bowen doesn't play, there could be potential for Burnley, but there's not going to be many clean sheets this week anyway. Mitchell, decent pick. You got Kudus, Son, Gordon, Salah, like handy midfield, and you've got a front 3 that's really, really strong. So like, I'd probably roll it, and then have the 2 ready for, when needed to be. I just don't think there's really too many essential players this game week that you'd bring in anyway. So like, I think you can roll it and just go with Cash instead of Kabore.
Yeah, no, I agree. Especially, I think what Adrian was kind of asking is to avoid the Matty Cash price drop. Should the transfer have been? I think this is what I'm getting from the second part. But I think this is Adrian's thinking is to avoid the Matty Cash price drop. Should someone come in that will sit on the bench for this game week? But now that Kabore is injured, I don't think that question kind of stands because they'll probably be playing. So I guess another question could be: is Matty Cash to an Arsenal defender a good option? For me, that's a transfer I was actually going to make at the start of the week. Now I'm not too sure. Now I think I'm going to really want 2 transfers next week with what a mess this game week is kind of looking to be, with how many injuries, with Champions League midweek as well. Who knows how many injuries that could bring up? So we'll go on to my team later on. But would you do Matty Cash to an Arsenal defender?
It's tough because, like, I'm assuming when he said when he did this question, Matt Cash is actually price dropped in that time. So he did price drop today or last night. So if he's still got this team, he's at a point where it's like, you might as well just keep Cash. I wouldn't do that Arsenal pick. I'd still wait a couple of game weeks, because next week, if you keep this team, you got Cash against Bournemouth. Tsimikas can come back in at home to Fulham. And then you can play Taylor against Sheffield United next week. So then you don't need the Arsenal defender at this stage. You can then have 2 transfers to maybe move on, I don't know, like potentially Alvarez next week if you want someone else, or like Gordon to Palmer, or like, I don't know, players that might be needed, make 1 transfer. And then the following game week's midweek, Arsenal play Luton. And you could then use those 2 to bring in like a Saka or a Saliba, or, you know, however your team shaped up. So I wouldn't make that Matt Cash move this week at all. I'd get 11 on the park, because there's just too many like unknowns this game week that I don't think you need to make any rash decisions, unless you're going for a complete differential defender. That, like, I've seen a few people talk about Castagna from Fulham, the defender playing at home to Wolves, and he gets forward, and he might, if you've got a feeling there's going to be a defender that's going to get like a huge haul, then I would do it just for a 1 weeker. But I wouldn't. Otherwise, I'll just keep the 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. So we'll go on to, I guess, when I do my team. But I'm now swaying to, let's just have 2 transfers next week and see where we can go. Because I think what defender I bring in depends on a lot of things. Depends on if Bowen, I guess, is fit. Depends on if I want to move out Alvarez, or if I want to upgrade a 3rd striker spot, so I don't have to take out Alvarez in game week 18. So there's so many deals. There's so many like situations, I'd say, that could happen. And I think going into it with 2 transfers is the smart way to do it. We'll go for a few questions before we move on. So, Christian, thanks for
He's done it. It's good luck though, because every time Rue gets talked about on this channel, he comes out grabbing 2 goals. So,
well, I see loads of people talk about him, Chris Wood, and I was like, we were doing that a few weeks ago. But wow, captain, you know what? It's a good fixture. So he's scored 2 in his last game, or last game he played. So why not? Another question we've got here is, should I start Douglas Luiz over Bowen? For me, I think you have to start Bowen if you've got him. I think the information we've got is enough for me to think that he will play. Obviously, he probably sometimes maybe he can't play, but I can't see him starting on the bench, to be honest. Matt, what would you say to that?
No, I wouldn't do that, because, yeah, with Bowen, like you said, he's either going to be in the lineup or they rest him completely and let him get fit, and then it means you get Douglas Luiz coming in for Villa regardless. I think you'd just be kicking yourself if you started Douglas Luiz and then Bowen did start and then scored, and you just think, what am I doing? So yeah, I'd start Bowen.
Yeah, if it was someone that was like an attacking midfielder, or maybe even a Palmer at that same price, then I think it's I guess a conversation. But Douglas Luiz, you're kind of relying on pens, I'd say. So yeah, so for me, yeah, I'd probably start Bowen. We'll move on to the next question on the screen. So we've got a team here. Again, I'll read it out because it's a bit small. So I line up like this for game week 13. No transfers. Think I need to bring in anyone. So you got Areola, Raya. Obviously, Raya is what's it called? Like loan tied. I don't know what it's called. Cup tied, whatever. Trippier, Saliba, Lascelles, Maguire, Gusto, Son, Salah, Mbeumo, Gordon, Palmer, Haaland, Watkins, Alvarez. Wow, what a team!
Yeah,
I don't think you need to bring in anyone. That's probably one of the best teams I've seen.
Yeah, you can play Trippier, Saliba, Maguire this week because Maguire's got Everton away, and you think just throw him in there, might randomly score a header or something, or scrap a clean sheet like he's done lately. Play Saliba in the Brentford one. Play Trippier. In goal, obviously play Areola because Raya can't play, like you said, and then Son, Salomon, Buemo, Gordon, Palmer. You can either play all 5 of them, or you can make a choice about dropping one of them and then playing all 3 forwards. So. Or you could just gamble, do the 3-5-2, and then drop Alvarez and play Haaland. So, I would not be transferring.
No, same. I think honestly, that's one of the best teams
Strong.
I've seen on paper. Yeah.
There's no flags either.
Bring up no. Yeah. I feel like this is a wind up.
Who would be flagged? Probably Haaland would be the only one that should be flagged. The rest is pretty safe. So
yeah, no, definitely. Moving to a couple more questions. So options: Salah, Watkins, Haaland, Saka. So I'm guessing that's for captaincy. For me, I'd probably go Haaland out of them 4. I think obviously Saka probably has the best fixture on paper, but I don't think Saka's been captain worthy. I'd say the last 5-6 game weeks. I don't think. I think he's scored 1 goal in that period, and he's got a couple assists. So I wouldn't be putting it on Saka. I think Haaland for me out of them. Matt?
Haaland as well for me.
Yeah, fair enough. We'll do one more question and we'll move on. So, must be nice having Son. Yep.
Yeah, it is.
Nice, but
hopefully it's nice at the end of the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. He's blanked in the last 2. So obviously he's had 9 men and half a team missing. But hopefully he can start, I guess, keep delivering. Christian, so Phillips Spurs is red flag, ankle injury. Yeah, so I think he actually got injured in a youth game. So maybe he could have started. But yeah, that's a shame. We'll do one more. So we've got a question in from FPL Stud. So my plan is to take out Martinelli for a 5.8 midfielder to leave funds to get Mbeumo in next week. What do you guys think? I kind of like Martinelli at the moment. Obviously, when Gabriel Jesus comes back, then Trossard is out there for competition. But I think until that happens, I think Martinelli is a good player to have. So I'll probably save the transfer.
I'd roll the transfer if you can.
Yeah.
But if you've got, I'd roll it. I would roll the transfer. I wouldn't do it. And I'd wait a week if it means you've then got 2 spare to bring Mbeumo in. But if you've already made a transfer this week, or if you just really want to make a transfer and you are going to pick someone for 5.8 mil or under, it's got to be either Hwang Hee-chan from Wolves away at Fulham. Last fixture of the game week, I just feel like he's going to score. I think he's a great pick. Or probably Palmer, just because he's got good fixtures coming up and he's on pens. But I think, like FPL Roo said, I reckon you could give Martinelli this game week and then make that move next week. The only thing I'm thinking is he might need to take him out now to then be able to upgrade another midfielder next week. But then if that's the case, then he'd still be able to do that next week regardless, I think. But
yeah, because I think Mbeumo is coming in next week. So how many midfielders he can upgrade?
Yeah.
Surely that's the move. But I think, I like Martinelli for this week, to be honest. We'll move on to the next question on the screen. Keep liking this video as well. Subscribe if you haven't. Just hit 1,000 subscribers. So hopefully we can hit 2,000 in the next year or so. Or sooner than that. That would be nice. Is it time to invest in teams without European matches like Morgan Gibbs-White, Solanke, Edouard, Jackson, Visser? I probably wouldn't be looking at it like that. I think if they're a good option, then it's a bonus. But I wouldn't be solely looking for players that don't have a European fixture, because yes, obviously it's a positive, but I wouldn't go out looking. But yeah, all these players, or most of these players you mentioned, are good picks. I think Solanke is a good pick. I think Gibbs-White probably not so much with the amount of good midfielders we've got at the moment. Edouard, No, not for me. But I think Jackson, going back on my word from earlier on in the season, but I think he is actually a good pick for game week 16 onwards. So I think if they're a good pick, or if you're looking out, say if you're going Jackson or Watkins, and Watkins obviously has Conference League, Europa Conference League, then maybe you could go, Jackson's only got 1 game a week. Watkins going to have to play midweek and could get injured and might get rested in a Premier League game if they've got a crucial game in Europe midweek. Then fair enough, but I wouldn't be looking out to pick these players.
Yeah, it's tough because I can see why he's asking, because it's now come to that like back end of the group stages for teams, and there's a few teams that still need to qualify. Like United obviously aren't guaranteed. Newcastle aren't guaranteed. I'm not sure with the Europa how that's kind of gone. I think Villa are okay in the Conference League now, but I can kind of see. But yeah, I wouldn't go sort of looking for these players. But I do think the fact that the ones he's named don't have Europe, so it does make them attractive when you pick them, because you know that they're more than likely going to play most minutes. And from that list, I think Solanke is the standout for me with the form he's been on, and Bournemouth are playing quite attacking football. And then I don't mind the Jackson pick, but if Nkunku does come back and potentially plays in that position, then yeah, his place could be at threat. Wissa, I'm done with him because he let me down a lot, so I can't advocate for Wissa at the moment. Edouard, yeah, similar. He's let me down a lot in the past, and like I just don't like Palace attackers. They're just not a team that inspires me going forward. And then Morgan Gibbs-White, hasn't done enough this season. I don't think he's even started every game. So yeah, if you're gonna go from that list, it's Solanke's the one.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. We'll bring up a couple of comments. So if you are watching, please make sure you drop a like on the stream. It does help it out a lot. So Bowen to Mbeumo, Adingra to Eze with 2 free transfers. For me, no way. I think keep Bowen for now. It's not like Mbeumo has a good fixture this game week, so I wouldn't be doing that. And then Adingra to Eze. It's a tough one. I probably do prefer Eze, but I'm not sure I'd use a transfer to get out Adingra. He's got a good fixture this week. Matoma's out, so he's probably going to play. Surely he's got to play. So for me, I probably wouldn't do either of them transfers. Matt, what do you reckon?
It's tough. I always look at 2 transfers. The best way I look at it is, do you think Adingra and Eze... Bowen to Mbeumo. Okay, so Mbeumo and Eze, do you think they're going to outscore combined Adingra and Bowen this week and next week? Because that's kind of why you're doing these transfers. So I'd say probably yes over 2 weeks. But then at the same time, who's the one that's going to outscore them this week? Because that's how you're going to accumulate most points. So it's like if you keep Bowen and Adingra this week and they outscore Mbeumo and Eze, and then you make those moves next week, you're going to be up. So, but it is tough because Bowen's not confirmed, and then Eze does have a good fixture. So, yeah, but I wouldn't do it, because if Bowen's okay, you're going to want him next week against Palace anyway. And then you're probably not really going to want Eze going forward. So you could probably bring Mbeumo in for like Adingra and then downgrade a player in another position. Because Bowen's someone you're going to want to keep long term if he's fit. But on the flip side, it's difficult because we don't know what his injury status actually is. So yeah, I'm with Rue. I wouldn't do it this week.
I think the only potential of them moves are to actually do Bowen to Eze. Then maybe you could make a case for that, but
that's a good
and then
idea.
bring in Mbeumo next week. But I still wouldn't do it, to be honest. So yeah, with that, I'll probably just keep the 2 free. Well, you've got 2 free transfers, so I'll probably make one of them. But if you've got nothing else to worry about in your team, then then you're doing well, to be honest. But yeah, if you had to make a transfer, then maybe you could go Adingra to Eze or Bowen to Eze. But I don't know. I don't like that at all, really. So Devon saying, what are your thoughts on Aguerd? Is that right? Good player to bring in. I think West Ham's fixtures look good, but I don't think they're that good defensively at the moment. So for me, I did actually recommend as a differential Kufau in one of my videos, who now has, I think, picked up an injury. But it was only for his attacking options, really. So for me, I don't think I'd go for a kind of a West Ham defender for the clean sheets. They haven't really kept that many this season. I know they've kept one against Sheffield United in game week 7, but I think that was it the whole season. So for me, although their fixtures are good, Burnley away, Palace at home, then they've got Spurs away, Fulham away, Wolves at home. So good fixtures. But for me, I just don't really trust West Ham's defence at the moment. What do you reckon, Matt?
Yeah, no, I agree. I wouldn't be bringing him in. I'm assuming your goalkeeper, probably one of them includes Areola anyway. So you'd be doubling up on a West Ham defence effectively. I just think it's not worth it. Even if you don't have Areola, it's not a defence I'd even be considering. If you're going to bring in a defender this week, you could bring in Mitchell or Gahey from Palace just for a week with the Luton game, if you're confident that they can sort of shut Luton down. But otherwise, yeah, I wouldn't bother bringing him in. Nah, West Ham defence, terrible.
Yeah. And I agree. We'll go one more question, then we'll carry on with the screen questions. So FPL Yellow Army, can we break down the Son v Haaland captaincy, as I'm really struggling with it? So we went over it a little bit, but I guess we can go over it again. I guess how are we breaking this down then? Should we go fixtures first? Let's go fixture first. Yeah, let's break it down. Let's get comfortable. Okay. So fixture, you'd probably say Son has that. Son's got a
probably
fixture.
just. Yeah. He probably does, but it's not much in either of the fixtures.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so let's go 1-0 Son. Form, you'd probably say Haaland.
Yeah, I'd say Haaland just because he's probably scored in more game weeks than Son.
Yeah. So 1-1. Maybe if you want to go, for like flagness, fitness, ready to playness, you'd probably got to give it to Son as well. A player that is going to play 90 minutes, you'd probably give it to Son. Teams they play for, you'd probably give it to Haaland.
Yeah, I'd say, to be fair, you'd say Haaland right now because of the injuries Spurs have got. So City, they've got so many good players, whereas Spurs have got a lot out. So Haaland's going to get more opportunities potentially.
Yeah. So there's not that much in it, don't get me wrong, but
penalties, they're both on pens, so that's a point each.
Yeah.
Well, we think Son's on pens, but only guessing that he's on pens, but I'd say there's a 99% chance he's on pens.
Yeah. With Maddison out, I think that's almost 100. What else really is there to break down? It is a tough call, don't get me wrong, but I just think Son has more chance of playing 90 minutes. But don't get me wrong, Haaland in 60, 70 minutes can probably do more than Son in 90 minutes. But with the fixture...
They look for Haaland on everything as well, City. They literally just every time they go forward, it's like Haaland just appears at the back post and it's
But yeah, we kind of, I guess we both mentioned it earlier on that it probably both edge Son or you edge Son for your team, but not for everyone else's team.
Yeah.
Right, Matt?
Haaland's the safest pick, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I hope that's helped or probably confused you more, but it is close. Don't get me wrong. And I don't think there's a right answer until Monday morning or Sunday night, whenever the games are, in wherever you are in the world. So, go with your gut. I'd say go with the person you thought you're going to captain at the beginning of the week. So is it worth taking a 4-point hit for an extra trade? I guess that depends on who it's for, to be honest. That's probably the big key thing of who you're bringing in, who you're taking out. So let us know and we can discuss it. But sometimes it is worth doing a -4. I'd say it's like a rule of thumb. Midfielders and forwards is worth it, but defenders and goalkeepers is probably not worth it. But yeah, let us know who your ideas are. So Doctor, how can I send my team in? What's your Twitter? So yeah, at FPL, everyone go follow me. Send your teams in and I'll try and read them out if we got time. So next question on the screen. Are Crystal Palace attacking options good long-term buys, or would you just be looking at them for the next 3 game weeks? Matt, do you want to go with this one?
It's tough. I like it as I think he's a good player, and when he's on form and Palace are actually attacking games, as they can get big scores, but they've not shown enough this season. Palace going forward, they kind of towards the end of last season when they were trying to stay up. Hodgson first come in, they had that big boost and they were looking good, and that energy's kind of just gone. So I'd say, are they good long-term buys? No. Attacking options, they're not. But over the next few game weeks, there could be some potential in there, because this game against Luton, these are the types of games Palace need to get 3 points from to be safe and know that they're going to be in the Premier League for another year. So I'd say, next 3 game weeks, yes, but long term, nah. I think there's better picks.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I do like Eze. I just don't. I think if it was like probably any other season where there's not as many good midfielder picks, then okay, you could go for Eze. Very good price. Takes everything. He was in my team from game week 1. I think I took him out before Man United away, and ended up getting I think it was an assist. Could have been goal.
Yeah, I did the same.
So, I do like Eze for the fact that he's on corners, probably pens, but I don't think long-term Palace midfielders are probably the way to go. I think you can probably get midfielders from better teams for around the same price point. Yeah, okay, a little bit more. So James Maddison obviously is not fit at the moment, but in the future, maybe someone like Diaz is just a little bit more. And Bromo's got a double game week coming up as well. He could go for someone like him. You could go for, obviously Bowen's injured, so but he might not be. So you could go for someone like Bowen. So I think there are better options at the minute. So for the next 3, I think go for it. But I think long term, I do struggle to see a place for a Palace midfielder attacking option in general. I wouldn't go for their forwards. I think all their forwards are awful. But in terms of midfielders, I think why not? For the next 3 days, we'll get one more question in before. Well, we'll get a couple more questions in. Hello, gentlemen. Been playing FPL for many years, and have an embarrassing question. When's the deadline to use the first wild card? Is it game week 19 or game week 20? So I'm pretty sure it's game week 19. So ahead of game week 19, you have to use it by the deadline of game week 19.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, halfway stage. Yeah, halfway stage. So no, it's actually a good question, that is, because so many people get confused with it, because to be honest, FPL don't really make it that clear. Or what they might do in the rules, but like not really. Like a lot of people are just casuals. No one actually reads it. 19. So if you play it game week 19, you probably want to play it and prepare your team for the next 2 months or so, and get the best out of it. And then as soon as game week 20 hits, you're actually going to get a brand new wild card. But you won't need it if you use your wild card in game week 19. So you kind of getting a good little boost there. So game week 19, it runs out once that deadline of game week 19 is finished.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat, so I've still got my wild card, and I'm going to be playing it in game week 19. So before obviously the game week 19 deadline. I've kind of survived.
The rules say 31st of December.
Oh, okay. Which is that game week 19?
Hold on. question?
I think that is surely. God,
Okay.
1 minute. Let's get it up.
It's game week 20 this year. So he's got a point. Bear in mind, hold on. We're in a different time zone. So that would be Friday the 29th still. Okay, interesting. I always thought it was bang on halfway through the season.
Well, how does that work then?
Because then you're
How
getting the
does it
first
work?
wild card for 19 games and the second wild card for 19
games.
games.
So it's game week 20, right?
Let's check the rules.
31st of December. But that would be the 29th. Are you on the rules? Let us know in the comments if you know this. I've still got my wild card, so I need to know this, to be honest.
Yeah.
No, it's
Imagine
a great
that
question.
you didn't realise, and then it's either gone or it's still there.
God, imagine.
Okay.
But there's so many people. Like I remember, I'll tell a little story while you're getting that up, Matt. Like playing in my friends and family league, and like my uncles would be in the league, and I'd be like, you got to use your wild card like before. I just remember it being before Christmas. Like, you got to use it before Christmas, otherwise you're gonna lose it, and you won't be able to get another one. Or you'll get another one, but you won't be able to add it on to your existing one. And they're like, oh no, that's all right. My team's fine. I don't want to change anything. I was like, yeah, but just use it. Just use it for anything. Make free transfers. Do something with it. So no, that's funny. Did you manage to find anything?
Yeah, he's right. So it does say it will be available from the start of the season until Saturday, the 30th of December at 10 p.m., which will be UK time. And
that's game week 20.
That's game week 20. And the first game is a Friday night. No, it's not. It's a Saturday.
Yeah,
It'll be interesting to see how the game weeks look like. It is saying that. So, but it's saying.
So it's before game week 20.
Yeah, again, it's saying the second wildcard will be available after Saturday. The wildcard can be used twice a season. The first wildcard will be available from the start of the season until Saturday, 30th December at 10 p.m. So
which is the deadline for 20.
It's interesting though, because that would be games on Saturday in England would still be being played, and you can activate your wildcard number 1 on game week 20. It's interesting though, because then you'd technically
10 a.m. or 10 p.m.
wildcard. Well, it's 10 p.m. This is UK time at 22. Yeah, 10 p.m.
Really?
But then and then it's saying after that time you have another wild card. So like, imagine if you did do it and then then you actually you were using your second wild card. You didn't realize because the rules were wrong. I'd be screenshotting that just as some backup. In case something goes wrong. So yeah, very interesting. There you go.
That is interesting. What? Maybe that. Do you think that could be our time? So I've got my times now, which is the deadline.
Oh, what does yours say?
Mine says 9 p.m.
Yeah. Okay. This is Australia time. Okay.
Yeah. So the deadline is 9 p.m. for game week 20.
Okay, so that means it's got to be used before game week 20 deadline. There you go.
Yeah. I always thought it was 19, but no, that's cheers for that question.
Maybe then it gives you 19 game weeks for the first wild card. Oh yeah, but then you're still getting you're kind of getting a second. Yeah, okay. So you've got to use it by the deadline of game week 20, which is the end of the year. Yeah. Interesting.
Okay. Well,
mate,
cheers for that question.
He saved you there. Well, because it's giving you an extra week.
Yeah, no, it's an extra week. Maybe I can get away with game week 19, and then game week 20 I can get 6 players from Brentford and Man City, 3 players each, if there's a double game week coming up soon. So if you're still in your wild card, definitely check out the channel, as I'll be doing loads of wild card videos. I've still got my wild card, so I'm open to playing it in every week up until then, but I'm probably going to be playing it in 19 or 20 now. Who knows? Cool. We'll get another question in, and we get to the ones on screen. So, would you which second striker would you have on a free hit next to Haaland? Solanke, Watkins, Wood, or Edouard? I'm going to go for Chris Wood. I think you're on a free hit, so why not? Like, I think Chris Wood, good fixture this week. I know Solanke has a pretty good fixture, Sheffield United away, but Wood's at home. Brighton concede loads of goals. They're without Matoma. Estupiñán's still out. They've got Europa League midweek coming up. I think go for Chris Wood. Matt?
Solanke, because I think he's on pens. I like the fixture, and he's coming off the back of some good form. So, and he attracts bonus whenever he scores. So Solanke for me.
Yeah, fair enough. It's between both of them, to be honest. I probably won't go Watkins or Edouard. Okay, Edouard. Who knows? Luton. I actually fancy Luton to get a result in that game, but
yeah, same at home.
I think they're not too bad defensively. So, so I would be going Solanke or Chris Wood. Let's do one more question. So thoughts on Paqueta as a Bowen replacement? Interesting question. For me, I probably never thought of Paqueta as an option. I'd probably go Kudos if you're looking for a West Ham replacement for a West Ham player, if you do like their fixtures. Matt, have you ever thought about Paqueta?
Yeah, I actually put him. I did a 3 differentials list today, and he was in there because he got 9 points in the last game week, and he didn't get picked for Brazil this time, so he's actually fresh. And yeah, I feel like he's one of those players that if Bowen's not going to be there, he will actually step up. And Burnley they're just so open the way they play, even if they're at home, even if they're away. Yeah, I actually think he's a good pick. I like Kudus as well, but I actually think, Paqueta is, he's got a lot of potential as, over the next couple of game weeks. So if you're confident Bowen isn't going to play, then I think he is a good replacement.
Yeah, fair enough. Do you think he's on pens, or could he be on pens if Bowen's out?
You know what? I think he could be. If Bowen's out, I think he will be on pens.
Yeah, okay. No, interesting one. Okay, we'll go on to the next question on the screen. So please discuss the best strikers to choose from for the coming game weeks. Watkins, Nunes, Isak, and Nkunku. Matt, what do you think of? We've talked about Watkins, I say, quite a lot. What do you think on Nunes and Isak? And then we'll talk about Nkunku separately.
Yeah, I think Darwin Nunes is such a strange one because, he's so hyped in FPL, so hyped, but he then plays and he gets an assist. He never really hauls, and he's just so hyped. He always misses chances, misses sitters, scores. I like watching him play, and he's a good player. But he will score and then VAR will rule it out, and it's just constant. But I'm still going to back him because I do think there is a big haul in him coming up, and it could be game week 14 when Liverpool play Fulham at home. So I'd say Nunes is the best option with Liverpool's fixtures coming up and having that Fulham home game. Isak, if he kind of stays fit, I've heard he is fit, someone to look at because I know Newcastle have some decent fixtures. After the next couple, they got some pretty good fixtures again. Then I'd probably say Watkins because of the form he's been on at times this season, even though they got tough games. And then I'd put Nkunku at the end because he's coming back from a big injury. So there's just nothing there to say that we should be putting him in.
Yeah, I think it is close between maybe not all 4, but all 3 of Watkins, Nunes, and Isak. The only thing that worries me is Newcastle. So it could go 2 ways. So Newcastle have a massive game midweek against PSG. I think they probably have to not lose definitely not lose and potentially beat them in order to still be able to qualify. So if that goes the way of they beat them, then the next game against, I think they've got Milan in the final game, then that's a massive, massive game. And then they've got Spurs away. the weekend after that
Of the
Milan game.
Milan one.
Yeah. So for me, I think it is hard if they just need to get a point at Milan, or they need to beat Milan and Milan have already qualified or something like that, or because that group's a bit of a mess, I think, at the moment. I
Dortmund
feel
are in
like
it
anyone
as
can go through. Yeah, Dortmund. I think they're Dortmund top.
I think they might be, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, you probably have to be a bit cautious with Newcastle
It's a
picks,
bit-
unless they get thumped by
yeah.
PSG and then they're done. Then you're probably like,
That's what I mean. It could go either way. It could go either way, because if they do get thrashed by PSG, then they're potentially out. But at the same time, they probably still want to fight for Europa. That's still a big deal for them. Playing in
that's
Europa, they
true.
could probably win that. So I think he's a great player, to be honest. But I just would be careful with that one. I think Darwin Núñez is first choice at Liverpool, but you just got to be prepared for him to be benched and come on with 20 minutes to go. If you're fine with that, if you've got the strength to have that happen to you, and maybe have that happen every 4 or 5 game weeks, then go for Darwin. And Kunku, I think in game week 16, everyone's going to be talking about and bringing in Kunku. It's going to be the next bandwagon, and for me, I just need to see more from him. He's a great player, but we've seen great players come from the Bundesliga, like Timo Werner, to name
Havertz.
The biggest one. I'd say Havertz, that haven't really done it. So, and I guess they're probably, I say Havertz and Nkunku might even be a little similar, where they're not a forward, but they're not a midfielder. They're kind of a 10, but not really. They're like a 10.5 sort of thing. So yeah, but for me, out of them four, I'd probably go for Darwin Núñez.
Yeah, and Darwin, I guess, like when you have Darwin as well, like he's also frustrating as hell to own, but he's good to watch as well. So like owning Darwin is like, it's kind of like an experience, because he misses chances, right? And he misses not just like they're the easiest chances, and then he has disallowed goals as well. And you just like owning this guy is just like crazy. But then when he scores, they're like unreal goals. So it's like, it's like an experience owning Darwin. I don't have him, but I am considering finding a way to get him in, because Liverpool have a good run. I like that Fulham game. So yeah, but it's an experience owning Darwin. Like, it's just like,
no, 100%. Like, I've only owned him once, and that was before the World Cup. I bought him in the game week before the World Cup. Yeah, I think he got 2.
And he scored
right?
13 points. That was the only time I've owned him as well.
So I can't hate on him, to be honest.
Same.
But I can see why people are maybe a little bit frustrated with him. And it's hard because you're never going to captain him, no matter how good the fixture is, if you've got Salah. And I don't think he can cover Salah. So it's almost like an Alvarez. It's an Alvarez pick, ain't it, really? Like, Alvarez is a good pick. Yes, he plays for the same team as Haaland, but he's got to be a good pick on his own. Whereas Núñez, I guess, is the same. He's got to be a good pick on his own, because you can always have Salah, you can always have Haaland. I don't think they can cover them at all. But really good question. Hopefully this means the return of 3-4-3. As I do enjoy playing 3-4-3, and I would never play. I'd never play 3-5-2, to be honest, in the previous years, or even when I first started FPL. My tactic was to get 4.5 million defenders. I'd get Patrick Van Aanholt. I know we've mentioned this in a video before, but Patrick Van Aanholt, what's that West Brom one? El Ghazi, Hangeland.
He was annoying because he just banged headers in.
Yeah. Craig Dawson was good for that as well. Someone like even Wan-Bissaka used to do well for cheap.
Yeah,
so that could be my defense. And then I'd have like Rooney, Tevez, Aguero up front.
You'd go, and you'd always have the 3 up front, because you want goal scorers. You want to be able to have players that are scoring goals. But where the game has changed is, and this is football in general, is like now Kane's left the league. There's really not much striker-wise. Like, you've got Haaland, and then you kind of got Núñez in terms of like potential quality, and Watkins, and then it's kind of like that's it now. And like without Kane, and then but that's in general now. A lot of midfielders are like kind of like playing as wing forwards anyway. They're almost playing like on the left side or the right side, and you know they're doing more than just scoring goals. So like yeah, that's where obviously the game's changed. But that in that era there was like Berbatov, you know, Robbie Keane, Tevez, Rooney. There was so Drogba and Nelka. There was so many goal scorers that you had to play 3-4-3 in FPL because like there were so many options. And then captain option was never. Look, there was a Aguero period where you could captain him a lot of the weeks, but it was never like dead set. You know, you could captain so many players. So yeah, no, I agree. Like hopefully the return to 3-4-3 because it's the best form. No one ever wants to be playing 4 defenders, like or 5, even 5 midfielders. Like the only exciting thing about 5 midfielders is you can potentially get those extra midfielder points if that midfielder scores a goal. You know you're probably going to get 10 points out of it, which is huge. But yeah, you want strikers that are taking pens and like goal scorers, and yeah, I love the 3-4-3.
Yeah, no, it's funny this question's come out because I did a TikTok. If you're on TikTok, follow Matt as well. FPL Matt Day and FPL Roo. But I did a TikTok talking about the highest scoring forwards this season. Let's do a little test for you, Matt. Yeah, so on 96 points, who's top? It's an easy one.
Oh, so top Haaland.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Second with 80 points. So there's 16 points difference.
Ollie Watkins.
Yeah. And then third, 14 points behind Ollie Watkins.
As a forward. Look, this.
Yeah.
And he's not on this list, is he?
No, he's not on this list.
Does he play for a team on this list? It's Dominic Solanke.
No, he's fourth with 56.
Callum Wilson?
No.
It is
in the comments.
Alvarez.
Leave a comment if you know who it is. Yeah, it's Alvarez.
Yes, yeah. Alvarez. Yeah, Alvarez. Bloody hell!
Like, there's such a big gap though, like between the first Haaland and obviously Haaland's different, but that's just the best and the third. There's 30 points difference.
That's insane. But I guess that shows you as well why Haaland's 14 million and why you know the huge gap between first and third shows you why you pay that money for Haaland and to captain him for his haul. So
definitely
that is crazy. But you're right, like those gaps are huge. But like there was times where you know there'd be a real headache about who to pick as strikers. But this year, now like with Kane out of the league, it's so uninspiring forward wise because you're just like, oh yeah, Haaland, Watkins. Oh look, Alvarez has been brilliant. Hats off to Alvarez. But then outside of that, you kind of like, you know, you're picking players that are probably going to get like 10 Premier League goals for the season. Like that's nothing.
Yeah, even like a few seasons ago, maybe like 10. I don't try my age a bit, but like Van Persie, you had Aubameyang used to get goals as well. Even like I'm trying to think, like you had players that would still got forwards that would score goals, but now you can get a midfielder that's going to score more than the forwards, and you're going to get not only is going to score more goals, they're going to get a clean sheet bonus, like you said. They're going to get more goals for actually scoring the goal. So yeah, and I can see why 3-5-2 is the way to go. Would you like to see people like Salah go to be a forward?
I was gonna mention that then. I do think there needs to be a reclassification because if football's going to continue with the formations that they're doing, where it's almost teams playing with, you know, one centre forward and then 2 players either side, so it's almost 3-4-3s or 4-3-3s or whatever teams are playing. And this has been going on a while. You've got players like Salah, Rashford, Son, who they're not really midfielders in the way they play. There's what you'd class as a traditional midfielder. And it's not like they're like a left or right midfielder like you'd see back in the day with like Giggs or David Beckham. It's like, you know, they're actually like forwards. So like I do think there will be some reclassification next year. It might be too far gone for Salah because he's been a midfielder in FPL for so long. It'll be so controversial to then change it. But Son, I know he's been in the game a long time as well, but I feel like now he's actually feels like a bit of an out-and-out centre forward for Spurs. Now Kane's gone. I do think like Rashford used to be a striker in FPL, and then he went midfielder, and then he went back. He went forward or midfielder, back to forward to midfielder, and then he went back to forward, and then they put him back to midfielder again, like last or this season. So like, yeah, I do. It is interesting, but yeah, I don't think FPL care enough either.
No. And it kind of even like putting Richarlison back to a midfielder was a bit odd. I thought, like, okay, he's going to play on the left because of Kane. No, it doesn't matter. You can put him as a defender. No one will still there. Hopefully, it comes good. But okay, we've got a couple questions, then we'll go through our teams quickly. So, who do I pick to play out of Saka, Son, Salah, and Diaby and Mbeumo at a 4-man midfield? So, I think Son, Saka, Salah. Then I'll probably go for the home fixture and go Mbeumo. It's at home to Arsenal. Arsenal concede. Well, they're one of the best defenses, but I think they do concede.
Mbeumo's good. He's just Mbeumo's just dangerous, regardless of who he plays against. Play Saka. The thing about Arsenal though is they do know how to scrape 1-0 wins under Arteta. They've done that, where they just turn up to these stadiums, late game kickoffs, and they go there, they score early, or they keep the game at 0-0 and then they win it 1-0 in the last 20 minutes. They've done it so many times under Arteta the last couple of years. But yeah, as a Spurs fan, I would say play Son over Diaby, and then you just play what Rue said: Mbeumo, Saka, Son, Salah, and then bench Diaby and just hope he has an off game. It's actually hard because I'm looking at it more and like we know how many injuries Spurs got defensively. So yeah, it's
high line Diaby's rapid.
You know what? I'm actually going to say. I'm going to say Mbeumo's on Penta. I'm going to say exactly what Rue said: Saka, Son, Salah, Mbeumo, Diaby first up.
Yeah, fair. Okay, cool. We'll go on to our teams, and then we'll answer the last 3 questions. Get that up now. Keep leaving them in. We'll try and answer them before the end of the stream. So we'll go through our teams, Matt. So I'll just bring them up now. If you are watching this, please make sure you do like the stream, as it really does help the channel out. So, Matt, do you want to go first? Go through your team.
Yeah, well, Matt, I was going to say, is this a competition who's got the most flags in their team this week? Because, we've both got 4. So, crazy. I was going to say, this is interesting because, it's interesting because me and Rue will chat about FPL a lot, and I thought our teams would be a bit more similar. But Rue's is actually, and they're quite close in points as well. I think there's only about 5 or 6 points between our teams. And looking at this is actually one of the first teams seeing Rue's team where it's actually a lot different to other people's teams. So it's actually quite refreshing. But
because I haven't wildcarded, I think.
Because you haven't wildcarded. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So you haven't really got as many we've still got clashes this week, but not as many. But yeah, anyway, with my team, it was difficult this week because I only had 1 transfer. Kind of almost sort of wasted 2 last week. I won't go into the ones I did, although long term it's probably going to hopefully work out. Because I wasted. I bring Matoma in, but the reality is the move I would have been able to do otherwise was probably Bowen, who could potentially be injured anyway. Fingers crossed, but he did outscore Matoma last game week. And then I think the other one to get Bowen in for where Matoma is, the other transfer I would have had to make was McTominay or someone probably, but just to do it. And I don't want to be stuck with him for the rest of the season. So this week, got Areola in goal because Turner doesn't play. Pedro Porro, home game. He's just been in there now since wildcard. So I've got to start him. Matt Cash, he's flagged, but he's fit to play. I don't like playing players against the team I support. I just don't like doing it. But over the last few years, as I've kind of been doing FPL content, I've kind of just forgot about that and just I just play them now and don't even think about it. And if they do well, it's not a consolation because I'm still angry that Spurs have lost, but at least it's something. So Cash is in there. I'd rather play him over Taylor because Burnley, even if Bowen isn't playing for West Ham, Burnley concede. Like they just can't keep a clean sheet. And like, yeah, I'd rather just play. I just think Cash has got a huge attacking upside, especially with our Spurs defense at the moment. So like Villa hopefully Spurs win, but like Spurs could score 2, and Villa could score 1, and Cash could get the assist or score because he's done it before. And then Tsimikas, who saved my game week last, like he helped me get a green arrow last game week. I was just I feel like I won't get a score like that out of him this again against City away. Unless it's like 0-0, I'll be pretty upset if Tsimikas gets like another clean sheet. But so that's why I've gone with Cash. Yeah. Oh mate, that would be horrible. And then I'm starting Lamptey. I don't think he's going to actually play, but I know he was in training. Brighton have got loads of injuries, and it's a case of if he gets to start, and as long as he gets to like the 60th minute mark, and he somehow Brighton have kept a clean sheet at that point, he will then get subbed off because De Zerbi's already said he's going to have limited minutes. So I'm going to gamble on that because either way, even if he gets 1 point because he comes off the bench, I still think Taylor and Tsimikas are just going to get 1 point anyway. So it doesn't really matter. And then, so I think, what do you think, Reed? The defense is probably about right.
I'd say so. I do like maybe Taylor, but Burnley are just bad. So I'd probably risk playing Lamptey, to be honest. And with Porro, Cash, you probably got to play them.
Fullbacks,
you've got to play them. You got the attacking for. You never know that game. That could be. I think that game could be like 3-3, 4-4, 3-2. I think there will be goals. So I think playing the attacking fullbacks is not a bad thing. It's not like you're looking at your players are playing each other and it's
2 centre backs or
it's
something.
Everton, Nottingham Forest, and it's Tarkovsky and whatever. I can't even name.
Although that would be alright because that could be 0-0.
Yeah, that's true. But at least you've got attacking threat with these guys. And I like Gordon as well. Chelsea obviously look a bit better.
Gordon come in last week as part of those 2 transfers, but he was a long-term pick because Newcastle have a lot of players injured in midfield, and I thought Gordon just looks really dangerous. He's someone I can easily move on in a few weeks to like a Cole Palmer if I really want to anyway. So I'm not actually too concerned about Gordon at home to Chelsea this week. I know Chelsea have picked up a bit of form, but like they're still very vulnerable at the back. Saka, I moved onto him a few weeks ago. He's been terrible since I brought him in, but everyone's going to be jumping in on him from here on. And he can always produce out of nowhere. Fixtures, Salah, Pens as well for Saka. Salah, been in there since wildcard. Son, had him for a while now. I've got a lot of value in him. Captain's armband, like we spoke about earlier. So I'm happy with that midfield. Unfortunately, I had to bench Mitoma because he's been ruled out. Otherwise, Mitoma would have played. That's really annoying because I bought Mitoma for the last game week against Sheffield United, didn't start. Then I bought him for this fixture against Forest, and he's injured. And I'll go into my strikers and my transfer I've had to make, which is why I couldn't sell Mitoma this week, which would have probably been for Eze. And I couldn't do that this week because I looked at it and thought, I don't want any more 1 week punts in my team right now because I need to think of some stability. So I've gone Haaland, obviously don't need to talk about him. Watkins, again, just a lot of people have got him. Then this week I was like, all right, if I'm going to sell Mitoma next week, who do I want? And I was like, probably want Mbeumo with the Luton fixture at home. So I had Foster from Burnley, who was doing really well. Like his points were good this season, but I got him in on wildcard. And when I got him on wildcard, he hasn't played a game since because unfortunately he's got the mental health stuff, like problems. He's had some pretty bad, like it's pretty sad. So like I brought him in, and then that game week he didn't play, but I got lucky because Taylor come off my bench and scored that game week anyway. But like he didn't play, and I got Foster in because he had Bournemouth, then he had Sheffield United next week, all these good fixtures. And I thought third striker, he's a better pick than Archer. Since then, Archer's actually scored a goal and like picked up form. So I was like, I need to sell Foster today before his
Yeah.
price goes down. To be honest, I actually think it'd be brutal if they like FPL should put a price freeze on Foster.
Yeah.
I actually don't think they should bring his price down because of what's happening in his like personal life and stuff. So, but I just thought in case they do, I was like, sell him, bring Archer in for this Bournemouth game. Do the old school 3-4-3 that we've been talking about? Get that in there. Then I've got 0.5 in the bank, which means right now I could for next week I could do Matoma to Mbeumo, but a couple of things could happen. One, Matoma's price could go down in the next week, meaning, and then Mbeumo's price will go up, meaning I'll technically be priced out of Mbeumo anyway, but it's a risk I had to take. So effectively, I've had to bring Archer in for Foster to get another starter in, and then I've just got to potentially bring Mbeumo in early this game week and for Matoma before any price falls or rises. That's why I did
-4
well, no, I'll do it as the new deadline
next week. Okay,
yeah, for the next week, because I am a little bit scared that Matoma's price will drop over the next couple of days. Like, well, then like to like 6.4 when I bought him at 6.5 because he's just gone from 6.6 to 6.5.
Okay.
So I've been safe, but if he drops one more time, then I can't like Mbeumo can't go up anymore, or else I have to take a -4. So right now I've got a little buffer, but yeah, mate, playing with fire. I'm playing with fire, but
no, it's a hard one though when you've got a player that you can't afford to go down and a player that you don't need to go up. If it's one or the other, you can maybe like try and get away with it, or don't know, just wait to the last minute before they're about to go up. But if you're relying on two, that's a tough one. Could you have done Matoma to Mbeumo without doing Foster to Archer?
Nah. So the only thing I could have done with Matoma, because I only had 6.5 million in Matoma and I had 0.1 in the bank, I think, at best.
Okay.
So the only players I could have then got, I was going to do like a 1 weeker on like Eze, or just for a 1 week, thinking if he gets got. And then I was like, I'm obsessed with the Wolves midfielder, the South Korean Hwang.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what?
Korean guy.
He's quality. He's got Fulham this week.
Yeah.
Okay, next week he's got a tough game. Then he's got Burnley home the week after. And I was like, but then I would have had to sell Son to get Mbeumo next week. And I just thought Son's someone I don't want to sell, regardless of fixtures. I know he's got City next week, but he always does well against them. So like, yeah, it's tricky. And like, I look at that team and I'm just like, this week, unless Son does something for me, what am I actually going to get? Like, it's like Saka could come out. If Saka, Gordon, Archer scrapped a goal, and Pedro Porro or Cash got like some type of goal return, and Son just smashed it, it would be a great week. But this team just looks like, maybe worse than my 14-point game week a few weeks ago. And like, it's not good, is it?
So you're kind of, I guess you're relying on, because I guess most people have Cash, Salah, Haaland, Watkins, probably Son, probably Saka, I guess. I don't think Saka's that high, but you need Archer, Gordon, and Porro, and obviously Lamptey to do well, really, which is not bad, but
Lamptey might not start though.
Yeah, it is tough. It's a really attacking wise. You're hoping Gordon and Archer do the business, really.
Yeah,
because everyone else is quite highly owned, and obviously Son captain, I don't think will be that popular. I think it'll be a split between Haaland, Son, and Salah.
Yeah, best case scenario is like on it, like, because obviously you're not going to always like this. Doesn't like it's a great game week really, but like best case scenario from this team is Son gets a good captain score. Archer does the business, and it will just be a lucky kind of transfer because he's got a good fixture. Gordon scraps a goal, and one of my defenders returns something because I'm not expecting much out of that defense. And then it's like, leave this game week. Next week, fingers crossed, I can make the Mbeumo move, and then this team actually looks quite good going forward after that because Son's got a couple of back-to-back home games after that. Salah's got good fixtures. Saka's got good fixtures. cash would probably be the next problem I'd have to deal with in a few game weeks. But
Yeah.
the way this team's looking, and Samikas has got good fixtures coming up. So like, if I get past this game week and hopefully there's not too many other players people have that can hurt me. But we'll see. It always ruins my week anyway. So we'll see.
Hopefully it's a good week though. Hopefully it's a good week. Before we get on to mine, I get a few questions in. So am I crazy for captaining Saka? I don't think that's a crazy move, to be honest, especially with the fixture. It's just, can he? I don't think he scored in a few game weeks. Can he get on the score sheet? Is the main question you're going to have to ask. Can he get assists? Yes. Can he play well? Yes. But can he get on the score sheet? Can he get a pen and not give it away twice? Then he's a good captain. But if he
I hate when he gives away the pens. Does my head in.
What is wrong with what is wrong? I feel like you've got to want to score a goal. Surely
you want to get
especially
your numbers
like this day and age, like where it's all about numbers. Like I don't get it at all. Like especially not for Havertz's confidence. Like,
clearly doesn't play FPL, does he?
Yeah, no, selfish. Team Alex is asking. I'm not sure if this might be to you, Matt, but did you end up benching Haaland last game week? Belching Haaland?
Belching. What was the last game week? It feels like so long ago.
No? Did he not score a hat trick against No, it was against Chelsea. Did he score in that game?
Yep, he got a couple of goals against Chelsea, didn't he? Yeah. I didn't.
No,
were you looking at benching him? No, I was never benching him, mate. So
wrong stream.
No, I didn't, mate. Mate. Unless it was Q on but Q doesn't have Haaland. FPL doesn't have Haaland, so mate. No, I definitely played him, and it was a good result. I should have captained him.
Yeah.
Actually,
I did Salah though. Did you have Salah, Watkins?
Yeah. No, I had Salah.
Yeah. So PSP, I've been playing FPL for about a good decade and call myself a veteran, but that's so confusing. The rules are so confusing. I did a rules video, which I should have probably known that question, but I did a rules video at the start of the season, and I was reading the rules. I was like, what is that a rule? Like it was just some random rules, but it's like in the UK where they have like random rules for. I remember watching a podcast the other day where they've got the key to London or whatever, or they're I think it was the overlap. I don't know. They've got the key to London, and it means they can. That's my FPL deadline alarm. Means that they can herd sheep over London Bridge once a year. So I don't know. Maybe they've got their inspiration from that, but no worries.
No herding sheep on this channel.
No. Maybe herding kangaroos. So PSP, and we can get 6 double game week players. We've got enough here. 6 double game week players. That's the plan, I think. I think Flecken and Buemo.
Wait, is that a double game week then?
It's not announced, but so City and Brentford are going to blank in game week 18. Okay. So that means they're going to double, and it's looking like game week 20. They haven't announced.
You're joking me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's huge for wildcarders because game week 20, Man City have Sheffield United at home.
Yeah.
And Brentford have got Palace away. So
both teams are going to be pretty good. I think Buemo and Flecken, and then maybe Haaland, Alvarez, maybe even like a Edison. Or no, not Edison because I've got Flecken, but maybe someone like Walker or something. But I don't know. We'll get to that, I guess.
We'll see.
So Son, Haaland for the armband. We've answered this a couple of times, but I think both of us are going to go for Son.
We're Spurs fans, though.
Yeah.
Disclaimer.
It's 50-50, to be honest. I don't think there's a wrong answer this week. We've gone through this as well, but we'll quickly. Solanke, a good option for this week.
Great option.
Yeah. I think really good fixture. Got a couple of goals last game week. On pens, even though he hasn't taken one in the Premier League, I've heard. But he's definitely on pens. I think good option. Okay, cool. We'll save the last few for after my team, but I'll talk you through my team. So in goal, I've got Onana.
Doing well lately. He's doing well lately.
2 clean sheets in a row, 14 points in 2 games. I literally can't complain, to be honest. When people have had Areola and he hasn't kept a clean sheet while I've owned him, I've obviously not wildcarded, so I've still got Onana. And to be honest, there was a time where I was going to take a -4 to get Salah in, and I had 2 free transfers, and then it would have meant downgraded Onana to Areola. But in the end, I just went for a cheaper midfielder and ended up getting Salah for free. So I ended up keeping Areola, and he obviously had Fulham away, Luton at home, and then he's got Everton away now. Yes, the fixtures do get quite tough, but I'm just going to keep him into a wild card, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, can't complain with him. Got Gahey, Luton away. Again, that game, I can see both teams are cancelling each other out, to be honest. I think Luton are actually not that bad defensively. And I think at home, I know you can't really say this, but I think they'll be looking to target this game as a game that they can win. Palace at home, so I think that will be a close game. But hopefully, Gahey can get a clean sheet. Lascelles, Chelsea at home. He should have another couple of game weeks in him before Botman's back, or hopefully longer. But I've never played him and he's got a clean sheet, so hopefully this game week's the one. Yes, Chelsea look good, but Newcastle are pretty good at home, so I'm confident they can get a clean sheet. Yeah. Matty Cash as well. So my transfer this week was going to be Matty Cash to Saliba, but I can still afford it, I'm pretty sure. I haven't actually checked in a few days, but hopefully I can still afford it. But I think I'm better off just waiting for next week and then doing having more, I guess, transfers to play with, more time to think about what I want to do with the team as a whole. So I think for now, I'm probably just going to keep Matty Cash and play him this week, as he's got Bournemouth next week as well. So it's a pretty good fixture for him. The midfield, Bowen with Burnley away. Hopefully he plays, as the bench is not looking great. I've only really got Tsimikas on the bench. Well, that's all I've got on the bench that plays. So hopefully he does play, because I can't really afford anyone to not play in this team. Yes, Tsimikas can come on, but it's going to be a 1 point night if he does even play. Adingra, Forest away. Really happy with this one.
To have. That's a great player to have. Did you bring him in last week?
No, I think a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah, good move.
Maybe game week.
That was 11, the move I should have made over Matoma. Like, that was just perfect. He scored, didn't he? Game week 12.
Yeah, he scored. Yeah, I probably should. Obviously, I should have probably gone Palmer. Would have got more points, but happy with his 9-pointer last week, and I do fancy him in this game week. Forest are decent at home, but I think
right, always played good football.
I think it will be a tough game, but you can't argue with Forest away, really. Even though I do think Forest will win. Saka, Brentford away. Like I said, he hasn't scored since game week 7, so surely he's due a goal. Hopefully he gets a goal in this one and Arsenal lose 4-1. Salah with City away. This game's always a good game. Salah always does well against City as well. I think I heard a stat that basically Liverpool don't win at the Etihad, so who knows what can happen in this game. But I think
they're letting in goal City, so like it does make you kind of. It did tempt me to captain Salah, because they're just coming off the back of a 4-4 against Chelsea.
Yeah.
So I'm like, they're not keeping clean sheets, and Salah's got this knack of scoring against Man City. Like, he just always scores against them, kind of like what Son does for us. So it was tempting me, but I don't think it's going to impact us much, because so many people own him anyway, and I don't think many will captain.
No, exactly. And Son captain, and I'd say that's locked now. It was on Haaland, but I just don't trust the fact that he's going to play 90 minutes. And I think Liverpool have been okay defensively this season. I think they're joint in terms of least goals conceded and 10 goals conceded. So
Van Dijk might pocket him. Van Dijk's done well against him in the past, to be fair.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good thing to hear. I've actually gone Salah as vice captain. Just don't know. Probably I think Son's going to play anyway, so it doesn't matter. But Villa at home, and then the 2 City boys. Not ideal playing Liverpool, but they're at home at least, I guess. the only other move though, so this team's pretty locked, but there is a possibility I go and move Bama to Chris Wood. I've got the money to do that.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that
And
would
then you put him as first
mean,
sub, and if Bowen doesn't play, or
yeah, I'd probably do that. I probably wouldn't play him ahead of Bowen, but I think first sub. I'm just thinking about game week 18 is the only reason I'd probably bring him in now.
Okay.
So the fact that I can have him first sub, and the fact in game week 18 when Brentford not playing, City are not playing, I can play him against Bournemouth at home. So I'm trying to like look to the future a little bit. So that would be a big reason to bring him in, is to have that extra bench option and have him for game week 18. But
Okay.
I just think it might ruin plans that I don't know are plans yet, if that makes sense.
I wouldn't do it.
So I'm using 0.6 million getting him.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
I'm wasting.
I think
yeah.
you're better off keeping the cash, because Chris Wood is never guaranteed to start anyway. I don't know how long a one year's injured for anyway, but like if you look at it and you think, look, Mbama, he ain't gonna go down any further in price really now. Like he's almost at his like absolute lowest.
Yeah,
no one's really moving him on. Yeah, no one's moving him on.
Yeah.
Did you say he had 0.6 in the bank?
Yes. So
and again, like there's no point upgrading Kabore because there's no defense this week to pick. You've already got Gahey, who's probably one of the best picks this week. You're not going to swap the keeper this week.
Yeah, like I think I've got enough. I'm just thinking about game week 18, which is probably not the right thing to do.
You got a wild card up your sleeve anyway.
Yeah, which is like for me, if I need to just have a good team for game week 18, then it doesn't matter. So, but defense wise now, I'm pretty locked. I'd say until game week 18. I like an Arsenal defender, but other than that, I'm pretty happy with my defense until then. It's just midfield, and basically, if I bring in Mbeumo for a Dingra at some point, that means I'll have 3 players to take out plus 2 players on my bench that don't really play. So that's 5 players. So if I use 2 free transfers, it's getting a bit tight. So that's the reason I was thinking, do I upgrade a bench option? But who knows? Chris Wood could get injured, and like you don't know. Like it's 5 game weeks, so I think I might just hold it.
I think it's a waste because you've got a wild card. You don't really need to think about your bench right now.
Yeah,
you've got to play an 11 this week. You've got Tsimikas as an option. That there's, like I said, he might if you need him to come off your bench, gets 1 or 2 points. Like look, it is what it is. If you get news in the next hour and a half that Bowen isn't going to travel with West Ham this weekend or whatever, you could then just do Bowen to Mbeumo, done. You're set for next week, and it's simple. But if you don't have that confirmation, you don't want to be left. Bowen like starts a game and you're like, oh my god, like what have I done? So I wouldn't bother, mate. I think if you got a wild card up your sleeve, and even looking at that bench, like Tsimikas, like if this team was fully fit next week and having Tsimikas anyway, that's all you kind of need options wise, because it's pretty set. So
no, I think that, and I don't want to be making defender transfers.
Nah, dead weight.
To be honest, especially as I've only got five transfers before my wild card, and I'm gonna have to take out Haaland. Probably I'm gonna have to take out Mbeumo. I maybe won't be taking out Alvarez because I've got so much value in him. So that's 2 transfers. So really, I've only kind of got 3 transfers before my wild card. I don't know if that's a bit confusing, but that's what's going on in my head. Okay, cool. We'll go on to the last few questions, and then everyone from here will go on to the Matt's channel. Matt's going to be streaming soon as well.
More FPL chat.
More FPL. Yeah, he's not just random streaming. So, favorite. Oh wait, have we gone through this? No. Favorite defender, midfielder, forward, FPL pick of all time. Mine's Leighton Baines, Salah, Aguero. I'll go first, Matt, because I mine's Leighton Baines as well.
Mm.
I love Leighton Baines on penalties, free kicks. What a dream! Everton were good defensively under Moyes as well, so I'd say Leighton Baines. Salah, not sure, but Aguero, I'd probably say Aguero as well. I loved having Aguero. I just knew if I had Aguero in my team, I was winning my mini league. I just knew because I know I like captain every week. Aguero is going to score. If he's playing, he's scoring goals. If he's not playing, then I can take him out. Like, it was just simple with Aguero. It wasn't he's playing one week and not playing another week. He was either injured or playing and scoring. Midfield, I really like Dele Alli, to be honest. In that couple of seasons at Spurs,
Yeah,
he was
he's
very
cheap as well.
Yeah, I just remember Stoke away. I think Spurs won 4-1, and
he missed an open goal in that game as well.
He should have had more. Yeah,
yeah.
Was it that one? Yeah, yeah. So I'm going to go Dele Alli. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, he was on my mind then, but I'm not going to pick him because I'm going to go defender Trent. Because once Trent started being like as good as he was that season or two in FPL, it kind of changed the whole game. Because it went from you pick these like cheap defenders to like Trent's almost like an attacker playing as a defender. So Trent's probably my favorite defender. It's kind of like recency bias as well of the last few years. There's probably other ones I really liked back in the day, but I'll go Trent because he just used to get some huge scores. Midfield, I am going to go Salah because it's just ridiculous how consistent he's been. And then I'll probably then say Son is kind of like my second because he has got me some massive captain scores and really helped me climb rank a couple of years back. PSB knows about that one because we both captained him the same game against Villa, actually. That was. Forward, I want to say Aguero because I triple captained him the first year of triple captain when he got those 5 goals. And just like Rue said, so consistent for so long. But I'm going Harry Kane, like 8 years in the Prem, was literally like, other than a couple of years where he didn't hit 20 goals, he was pretty much like, it was just 230, I think it was like 330 plus goal seasons. Like, he was just ridiculous. So, like, Harry Kane was just, absolute unreal for FPL. Captain
I'll never
option
forget that double game week.
Unreal.
Was it 15, 16?
It was the last season at White Hart Lane because he scored in the first game against United, in the last game White Hart Lane, and then he got all those goals against Leicester. I'll never forget it because I lost a mini league because I didn't want to take a hit to bring Kane back in after an injury, and I was already tripled up on Danny Rose, who was on form for Spurs defensively at that point.
Rose and Walker were very good. Or Walker left, right, that season? Or no, he was there.
No, he was still there. But I had Ericsson, who, because you could have Son, Ericsson, Dele Alli, Kane, anyone, and I had Ali and Son. Actually, I had Son, or it would have been Dele, Rose, and Son. But Son still banged in loads of goals against Leicester in that 6-0 win or whatever it was. But Kane got all these points, and I was like, oh no, because if I'd just taken the hit, had Kane captained him, I would have walked like a couple of mini leagues. But historic stuff.
I know. I was at that game as well, that Leicester game, and I was loving it. It was I think it was one of the best away games I've been to. Yeah, so I think we missed out on the league. Was it to Chelsea that year? I think. Yeah, obviously weren't Leicester, so it must have been Chelsea. And we'll just go in there, probably a bit down, but we've had a great season. So to end it by, I think Leicester was 6 and Hull was 7. I can't remember, but
because we beat Hull on the last day of the season as well.
Yeah, because he weren't even nowhere. I don't think he was anywhere near the Golden Boot, and then he scored 7 in the last 2 games.
Smashed it.
Yeah. We'll quickly smash through these questions as Matt's got to be live soon. So pick a replacement for Kulusevski, Eze, or Gordon.
Neither. I wouldn't sell Kulusevski.
Kulusevski.
Keep him. Yeah.
Spurs
haven't got Maddison. They need other players to step up. Kulusevski's been consistent, scored in the last home game against Chelsea. I wouldn't sell him for either. I'd just roll a transfer.
Yeah, fair. Out of Eze and Gordon, I'd probably go Eze, but keep Kulusevski. Yeah. So Please rate my team for game week 13. Give suggestions. Leno, Anderson, Maguire, Saliba, Saka, Kudus, Bruno, Palmer, Haaland, Watkins, Solanke. I think it looks good. Bruno's a nice differential. It's probably not a player that a lot of people own, but I think it's a nice differential this week. I'll probably give that, if you want to have a rating out of 10, I'll probably give that 8, 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll give that a 9. Really good team. Good keeper for this week. Anderson, good fixture, has been banging goals in as well. Maguire's got a couple of clean sheets lately. Saliba, decent enough pick. Midfield strong this week. Bruno's a really good differential at Everton. Kind of that midfield that kind of is keeping you away from all these fixture clashes, so it's quite good. And then you've got like Haaland, Watkins, who a lot of people have, and then Solanke again isn't in a fixture clash. So yeah, easy. That's potentially a 9 to 9.5 this week.
Yeah, no, very good. Very good team. So next question. So we've got start Gordon or Archer. For me, I'd probably start Archer. I think it's a better fixture. He's the striker. But Matt, you disagree?
Gordon. I've got both. I've got both. Nah, it's tough. I'm looking at it because I'm like, that potentially could have been a decision that I would have had if I brought Archer in and Matoma was fit. But I'd still say Gordon because he is such a pain to play against. When you watch him and you just think teams just find it so hard to deal with him. And I think if Isak's back, it will give Gordon more space and they'll be worrying about Isak. And I think I think Gordon scored in the last home game, big game against Arsenal at home. And I just think, I don't know, Sheffield United just, even though I've got Archer this week, I have to play him, but they don't inspire me at all.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Next question is start Adingra or Cameron Archer. For me, I'd go Adingra.
Yeah,
it's a clear one. Yeah. So who should be first bench? Mubama, Taylor, or Tsimikas? I'd probably go Taylor, and then Tsimikas, then Mubama. Yeah,
same here. It's actually similar to my bench, but Matoma's mine, and I've gone Taylor, Tsimikas.
Yeah, nice. Okay, I need to bench 2. Cash, Udogi, Saliba, Tsimikas. I'll probably bench Cash and Tsimikas.
I would bench Tsimikas, and Cash. Shah can randomly just bang a huge haul in out of nowhere. So I'd probably do that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And then we'll get up this last comment, and then that'll be it. So PSB, one disadvantage for wildcard is that you can't triple captain Haaland. Yeah, no, that's so true.
That's scary.
And then Zyron. Yeah, no. Oh, that's a good fixtures as well, like you said. So Zyron, so I've got your team up here. Areola, Mialenko, Saliba, Kufal, Trippier, Saka, captain, Son, Salah, Diaby, Watkins, Darwin. On the bench, Alvarez, Buemo, and Tsimikas. For me, I'd probably start. I know, a really good team. Look at that bench as well. I'd probably start Alvarez over Mialenko. I'd probably always start a forward over a defender, especially with Man United. Yes, it's Man United. We can all banter them, but they're the most informed team in the league at the moment.
Somehow, yeah.
Have you seen that stat? Shocking.
Yeah, I've seen it. They're big across.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on, Matt. Everyone here who's left, go to Matt's stream at FPL Matt Day. I'll try and drop a comment in quickly now. Thanks for coming on, Matt. At FPL Matt Day everywhere, yeah? Sorry, we've left you no time to have a break.
That's all good. I'm going to do a stream on my channel now, so it's just at FPL and then Matt MATTDAY, and I'll be on there in about 10 minutes, and but I was probably doing about half an hour to an hour of just deadline stuff. I think I'll be doing fixtures and then sharing the latest news on Twitter if anything comes through. So it'll just be casual questions and all that stuff. So feel free to come along. But this has been a great stream. It's been good because international break's always quite boring without FPL, I find. So now it's back. It's like, it's getting me excited, but it's also like, not ready for the pain.
No. I feel like we always do a stream after the international break so that's good.
Always.
I'll quickly drop the link in. Yeah, please make sure you do like, subscribe, and yeah, good luck for the game week. And we'll I'm sure the moment everyone's been waiting for, we'll play the outro, the video.
Oh yeah,
famous one. Good luck, everyone.
Yo, listen up, Rue is stepping up the game, where fantasy Premier League runs in his veins. From transfers to captains, he's always on top, guiding you through every game week non-stop. They say Rue got that Salah flow. Welcome to the channel, enjoy the show. Wild cards, free hits with so much vibe. If you're hunting for success, then make sure you subscribe.